And hello, everyone. Welcome to the Warburg Infusion Entertainment Review. My name is Thomas, aka Mr. Warburg. This is episode number 48 of our show, and alongside me, as always, is my co-host Patrick, aka Mr. Fusion.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Hope you had a good week
Yeah,
or having a good week.
it's been a great one for me. Like right before the show, I did, as you saw, some absolutely fucking banging pork chops, dude. Like I
Yes, yes,
fucking
yes.
nailed them. They were,
Pre-game meal is very important with
yeah,
audio production. It's very important, man.
Yeah, you don't fuck around, right? You got to
No.
show up full stomach, and or if it's going to be a show where you're eating on the show, that's got to be a part of the event, like the Rooster Teeth Pancake podcast, right? Like that was one of the greatest podcasts they've ever done. Is that recurring Fat Tuesday show? It's fantastic. Um, but so what I did was some pork chops because I'm in Iowa and it's super cheap.
Yep.
Marinate them with some olive oil, some sugar, some smoked paprika, a little onion powder, salt, some dried herbs. It's beautiful, and then you baste it while it's grilling, so it stays nice and moist. And you use the whole marinade, and then it's also hot, so you don't need a sauce because it stays wet. And then bang, you don't even need a sauce. You just use that whole like it's on the whole plate. It's awesome. It's the best way to do pork chops, and I will forever and always have that saved to my Google Drive, so I can marinate chops like that no matter where I'm at. If I'm at home, my grandma's. If I'm like traveling, and like I talk to Jackie and she wants me to cook something, I'll be like, "Yo, I can cook these." And speaking of, next month I'm actually going to be in Austin, and Jackie did say
Yes.
we need to go over for food. So
Did you put in the request for ramen?
I will. That's definitely
Okay.
on the table too.
Oh
So,
man,
so
that's
as
good stuff. She did give me some ideas because the other day she actually posted she was making some pork belly, and you and I have been kind of ironing out the barbecue like menu, what I'm gonna do for you when
mhm,
you're in town, and it just occurred to me, I'm like, you know what? Gotta throw some burnt ends in there, some pork belly burnt ends, man. And you were like, "Ooh."
they sound amazing.
Yeah, man. It's a simple thing. You just slow smoke them, then put them in a pan with some sauce and let them smoke some more, and that's it. And just dip them in. You don't even have to dip them in anything because they're already cooked in the sauce. It's good stuff,
Exactly.
man.
It sounds
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
Okay, so for people listening, I think the menu when we record in September, the first week of September is probably going to be some tri-tip, just because brisket's a little long. It's like a 24-hour job, to do that. So I don't want to like, while you're in town, waste a whole day cooking the barbecue. So some tri-tip, probably some ribs, some spare ribs, or even St. Louis ribs, and then some burnt ends, man. I think
It's gonna
that's the
be delicious.
meat. Some Texas style beans, some rice. I think we're good to go, man.
If you want, I could bring a little Iowa down with me and make my apple Snicker salad.
There. Okay. All right.
Have you ever had
Sure.
that? It's
Nope.
very
Nope.
Midwest. Like
Okay.
I say what it is to anybody in the outside the Midwest. They're like, "What the fuck is that?" I think the only other person I've like talked to that knows, Jen might because she's from Michigan,
Yep.
but I know Ben knows what it is.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't know. Because I mean, it's green apples, Snickers, um, Cool Whip, sour cream, and that's it. And you dice everything up for the actual hard ingredients, mix together the Cool Whip and the sour cream, and the sour cream helps the tartness of the apples really pop against the sweetness
Yeah.
of the chocolate,
Yeah.
and then it also helps them stay crisper longer because it's an extra coating like of moisture to keep them from drying out, like getting that kind of brown. Absolutely delicious, and it goes with anything because it's like just the right amount of sweet to go with whatever you're cooking.
Nice.
Absolute
Nice. Nice.
staple at Midwest potlucks: apple Snicker salad.
Do you
And the
guys?
key,
I don't know. Is it Midwest up there in the Midwest? Is broccoli rice casserole a thing over there?
rice isn't really a thing that
Okay.
anybody does.
Or broccoli cheese casserole, whatever they like. Down here, I've heard it as broccoli cheese casserole or broccoli rice casserole. My wife absolutely loves it, so
I'm
every
gonna have to look that
Thanksgiving
up.
we
I've
make
never
it.
heard that one. Casserole, of course, being a Midwesterner, is deeply ingrained in our culture.
Yeah.
It's just throwing shit in a pot and cooking it
It's just
is
okay,
is
so it's just broccoli chunks with you cook fresh rice with broccoli chunks and then throw a big thing of Velveeta, a block of Velveeta
okay.
on it.
Velveeta, I can fuck with,
So
but
I'm
I've
but
never
I'm but
heard
I
this.
okay, but I'm like, how did you like anything with cheese should be your calling card over there,
We
right,
just
guys? It's like,
people never really did rice. Like we'll do like stuff with
okay,
like bigger noodles, like egg noodle
okay.
stuff, macaroni, the shells ones. Like
Mhm.
we'll do that all the time. Like actually today at work we did a potluck and somebody brought a pasta salad. We call it
Okay,
salad.
yeah.
Like that's like we fuck around with the worst terms. It's like salad, pasta. noodles, some like thick kind of like dressing, and like maybe like peas or something. It's weird.
It's very similar down here though. We do a version of salad where it's a ton of mayo with
Yes,
peas
mayo
and
is
then
like,
lettuce, and it's
yeah,
like,
mayo is the
that's the
base.
salad. Yeah, that's mayo's the base of a lot of things that are not like barbecue sauce related,
Exactly.
potato salad. Like I know it's a lot of people do it with mustard, but there's still mayo in there, or the lighter version, which is just mayo. And I know everyone's like, "What the hell, guys? I thought you were gonna go guns a blazing on Warner Brothers," but we're talking about food, man. And I'm a fat fuck. I love my food, man. What
Hey,
can I say?
look, we got to ease the people in
Yeah.
with some food talk, and then like right now, we're gonna drop the hammer. So here we
Let's
go.
do it. Let's do this. All right.
So of course we're convening on this week, even like just a week after our last episode, because some major shit went down these last couple days.
Oh yeah.
So the first hammer that dropped, of course, which we all knew something was up because the Discovery merger has not been going well. It's
Yeah.
been, let's say, chaotic with odd decisions. Things like Legends of Tomorrow, which is a fairly stable show on the CW, getting the axe before they could properly wrap up. Right? Like, and it's been one of the more critically popular ones. On top of being consistent audience, I would say in terms of size, it's not dissimilar to Supernatural because it's got a lot of that kind of culture around their fandom. That gets the axe. The Wonder Twins, right before production, chopped and meat. Just it's not happening, and they never said why.
Mm-mm.
Behind the scenes, of course, the hemming and hawing over the Flash, which that, of course, has nothing to do with the merger. That's Ezra Miller being like the fucking worst.
Yeah.
Which I can't believe that movie's still happening in light of all the stuff we're about to talk about. But that's for later in the show. And of course, 2 days ago, was it even just a day ago? They announced the move that the Batgirl movie that was going to be an HBO Max exclusive has been canceled.
Well, I think there's a little nugget that you're forgetting right before that, and that's the day before, 2 days ago, was that they announced the Flash was ending next year,
Oh
and they were
no,
doing all
it was the 70% of HBO scripted content staff
yeah,
is gone.
the con. Yep.
Like,
So it was they announced 2 days ago
yeah,
Flash was going to end, be only 13 episodes, and that was it for the Arrowverse officially because Lois and Superman are no longer
yeah,
technically categorized within the Arrowverse because they're on HBO Max now. But this was going to be the end of the Arrowverse, and then the workforce reduction was announced, and then yesterday the Batgirl thing came down.
yeah, which absolutely shocked everyone on Twitter.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, you got high profile people in this movie, right? J.K. Simmons, right? New star, young Latina actress leading this movie with a
Yep.
very popular character. And clearly they were cribbing off the great, like, who wrote that run of Batgirl? It's like the new 52 run of Batgirl.
Not Dan Slott. Not Grant. God.
Oh my God, I had it written down. I didn't print it on my note sheet, but it's like one of the more popular runs of Batgirl's recent history as Barbara
Yeah.
Gordon. Jake, and like I said, did I say J.K. Simmons?
Yeah. You said
Oh,
J.K.
and of course, everyone's
Gail,
favorite
Gail Simone. Gail
Gail
Simone.
Simone. That's who it was.
That's who it was. Yes.
Everyone's favorite internet person.
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser is the villain. This movie literally was not going to fail. It J.K. Simmons and Brendan Fraser alone were going to make this movie make its money back on streaming. Like the internet fucking loves those two dudes.
Yep.
And if Leslie Grace was even just halfway decent as Batgirl, it was going to be a success. Whether or not the movie was quality, it was going to be a success.
Well, and it was going to be on HBO Max. It wasn't going to be a theatrical release.
It was going to have as long a shelf life as HBO Max exists as a property
Yep.
because it's a streaming exclusive. And right before they go to post production, meaning reshoots, VFX, like extra VFX work, right? Like reworking of scenes, and of course the editing process, it's gone. Closed
Yep.
down, shut shop, everybody go home. Never gonna happen. Never gonna see the light of day, locked in a vault. Because of a fucking tax write off. Absolute chaos broke loose on social media. Everyone wondering what the fuck is going on. And of course, this is also a day before Discovery and Warner are showing, a proposal to their investors and their board. Was it the quarterly earning meeting or is this their
Yeah.
yearly meeting?
No, it was the Q3 call.
Yeah, the Q3 investor meeting
Yeah.
went down, and they had, of course, a PowerPoint presentation, which has been picked apart by the Twitter sphere, and that's not entirely without merit because some of the slides are like, what does this even say? But of course,
Yep.
that's par for the course with corporate media. It's buzzwords. It's, hey, we need to hype up our investors so we, keep the money train going. But still, It smacks to me of just weird. And you could take that weird in a lot of different ways. It could mean a lot of different things based on what you think is happening. And speaking of what we think is happening, Fusion, what the fuck's going on with Warner Discovery?
What I think is happening is that obviously Discover this was let's be frank about this. When we first heard about this last year, there was never really an outline of is this an acquisition? Is this a merger? What are we doing here? And we both had said if you go back and listen to when that news dropped, we both were of the opinion of this is a little awkward, but it could be a big opportunity for Discovery depending on how they operate. Maybe they put Discovery. Remember, we both said maybe they take the Discovery Channel, the Discovery Plus, and put it under HBO because that's the big marquee. HBO Max is the big marquee platform right now. It's second to Netflix. Well,
Yeah,
technically now.
the ramp up the last 6 months has been
Yeah.
insane, and honestly, it started with Peacemaker. Once
Peacemaker
Peacemaker
in
hit,
January. Yep.
everybody got on that train, and it has only continued to grow. Like
Yep.
HBO Max is now the brand, which is crazy from where they launched. It was a train wreck when they launched.
Well, not only that, but they're coming off of the fight of HBO and HBO Go, two different apps
Yeah,
that
and
were.
merging that chaos all together under AT&T, that team, the HBO Max team, like Warner should have given them like needs to give them all amazing severance packages when it all shit hits all hit the fan.
Yeah.
They've done amazing work building that property.
We've talked about how Netflix has really good code for their streaming platform, like for videos, but HBO's UI had gotten evolved to something that's a much more manageable and palpable UI. And because we had talked about Paramount having just a horrible one, and we
Yeah.
talked about all these few things like through the Halo series and all these things, but we always said consistently that HBO Max was the up and coming, and we said that last year. Both you and I were like, "Hey, Dune, fantastic, right? We both love Dune." It's like, hey, there's so much that can happen here. And then when that deal went down, we're like, okay, we were both kind of like, okay, this is not something to panic about, but it's something to watch because this is interesting because we don't know what the dynamic's going to be here. Obviously, what it sounds like is this is a takeover that HBO either like the executives knew about or they didn't disclose to the entire company or Discovery is just pretty much just pushing their own weight now in the deal based off of the way it's structured and saying, you know what, no, you know what, guys, we verbally have this way, but because of the way that the language of the deal is done, we're gonna take over and we're gonna push everything our way, and we're just gonna start screwing everything up with the IP. And today's call with David is it Zavalis?
I've never
Uh,
heard the last name said, so I'm not even going to attempt to
Zaz
butcher it.
Zoslov. I'm gonna say Zoslov.
We'll say it's Zaz because it's DC.
Yeah, let's say David Zaz. So David Zaz
That's the
essentially today.
worst.
I know, Mr. Zaz. Today.
Well, he's slashing, so it's fitting.
Now is he also slashing marks on his skin for every show that
We don't know. It's been
he
said
ends
he
every
might be.
production?
Wink, wink.
I know, right? And the picture they use on 4chan is just great. The one where he's giving the thumbs up with
Mm-hmm.
the horrible cheap blue blocker sunglasses. But yeah, basically today the idea was, and you could talk about this. I'll let you roll it all out. But the plan of action here is it's interesting in a way, but it's very comical how they presented it to us. And I'm like, for me, it's very on the nose for what we've always talked about with Warner Brothers, and that Warner Brothers for decades have just completely got in their own fucking way when it came to DC production, all the IP. And for me as a kid, it started way back before even I was born with the first Superman movie with Richard Donner. They completely got in the way. They did their best to. I'm not talking about the harassment side of Harvey Weinstein. I'm talking about the Miramax production side of Harvey Weinstein, and that just completely step in and tell everybody we know how to sell this movie because we're Hollywood execs, and that's what Warner Brothers has done with DC for decades. The '89 Batman, they didn't expect it to. They didn't, based off of the way it was done, by the way Tim Burton did it and the music and everything. They weren't expecting it to be a big hit. They were not expecting it to be a pop culture like phenomenon. They were like, this movie sucks. There's no wham look. There's no images of him hitting people with wham and punch like the Adam West TV show of the '60s. Like they were not happy about it, and they're like, Jack Nicholson is a very hokey kind of fat Joker. We don't like this, and fucking Prince, we're gonna really do this? Like, are we really like Warner Brother execs were not happy about it, and then that movie blew up, and they're just like, okay, yeah, hey guys, we were all smart here, you know. They pretty
And then
much did
they
that.
turned to the fucking Batman and Robin crew.
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
Batman for is it Batman Forever?
The Batman Forever crew. No,
Yeah,
no,
and
no. Tim
then
Burton, Tim Burton did direct Batman Forever, the second one.
yeah, that was the second one with Kilmer, and
Yeah.
then it just went.
After that, the third one, which is Batman. Yeah, Batman Forever.
No, it's
So
Batman and
it's
Robin.
Batman. It's Batman. The first one's Batman. The second one's Batman Forever. What was the third one with Val Kilmer?
Wasn't Val Kilmer in the? Wait, was it Batman Returns? It was Returns, then Forever,
Batman Returns, then Forever, and then
then
Batman and
Batman and
Robin.
Robin. Yep,
Yes, there we go.
we got it.
And it was Batman and Robin with Batgirl. Remember, it was Batman,
That's
Robin,
Alicia
and Batgirl.
Silverstone and the Bat Nips. What a fucking train
Look,
wreck. With their
I
terrible
like
Bane that didn't even speak.
I like Joel Schumacher, but the
That
Batnips
was the
were
director. I was thinking,
yeah.
I had Jeremy Bruckheimer in my head, but like, that's the wrong J.
No, no, no,
Yeah.
no. That's Jerry Bruckheimer's like police action car chase guy.
Yeah,
and
he's
helicopter
producer
guy.
guy.
Yeah, he's a producer guy. No, Joel Schumacher, who directed The Lost Boys, which I heard about. I was listening to another podcast today, the last podcast. No, We Hate Movies, and they talked about The Lost Boys. Great underrated '80s movie, right? And Joel Schumacher directed that. Don't know what happened here, man. I think at this point he was just like out of his mind, which I get. David Lynch, not everything for him was a home run. Let's be real. But yeah, this is. I think Warner Brothers has always stood in the way. We've constantly made jokes about their television and their movie IPs adaptations of DC. I think though the HBO Max era gave you and I a false sense of hope. Peacemaker with James Gunn was like, holy shit, let's hope James Gunn's going to do a season 2. And then after the last episode, he's like, we're going to do a season 2. And both you and I are like, yeah,
Yeah.
we had, Shazam was great a few years ago, was all, great. Aquaman wasn't a world beater, but it wasn't awful.
He was a
It
fun
wasn't
character. I would really love to see in future Justice League movies, though. Like
Yeah.
Momoa and his chemistry and just his presence with the various different versions that you could have of the Justice League, be fucking killer for 10 years.
I mean, they put him in Peacemaker to have that one little cameo at the very end to just kind of just let you know that
Yeah,
hey,
because the
Momoa's
guy
still- he's
likes
still
fucking
good at it.
around. Like he'll
Yeah.
show up and just do random shit.
Yeah.
Like that DC was building this universe where you could just fuck around, do random crazy shit. Like one of my favorite shows, Young Justice, which they saved and brought back for 2 seasons now. Are we gonna get a season 5? Who the fuck knows after all this chaos? But like they had crazy ass shit like they brought in DB Woodside to voice Phantom Stranger, which is an absolute fucking like deep cut DC character. And they made
Yeah.
him a recurring thing for like 4 episodes. And it was DB Woodside. Like he's not a nobody, Like I mean, he was just showing up on Lucifer as a he's one of the characters there, and awesome voice actor for it. And like they do crazy ass shit like that and put money into shit like that.
Yep.
And like Batman's in its own universe. Joker 2 is going to be a musical and it's set in Arkham Asylum. It's crazy. It's chaotic. It doesn't make sense. Harley Quinn, right? The show. And then
Great show.
and like James Gunn's Suicide Squad was amazing. Like that was a wonderful film that absolutely bombed because of horrible marketing, which shocker, WB and horrible marketing. They go together. They're under each other in the dictionary basically. Like it's just so fucking weird.
Go ahead and let the audience know like what took place. What were the big notes that stood out for you from today's call to talk about what the hell Discovery Plus is going to do with DC and just HBO?
So for me, there was a few things that were alarming, a few things that make sense. But at the end of the day, I can't help get the impression that either one side or both sides didn't understand who they were getting into bed with.
Yeah, obviously.
This is not like Microsoft buying Activision. Like they knew what they were getting into, right? Like, and they're probably going to manage those IPs very well, right? Because they are in line with each other. Discovery is a reality-based content producer. Like they make real stuff, like whether that be like, the typical reality TV fare or like documentary fare, like real world reality fare, non-scripted content. They're still an entertainment company, but that's not their bread and butter. Their bread and butter is just
Shark Week's their big thing. Shark Week is their biggest
that's
thing.
their thing, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Warner has for generations and multiple iterations of Hollywood has defined scripted content as a company, for better or worse. They've been there from almost just about the beginning, right? Like they've been there a long fucking time. You're going all the way back to the 60s, you bring it all the way up to now. They've had shows every single generation that have been major era defining shows, right? You talk about things like Looney Tunes, right? Like scripted shows are what they do. Discovery seems to be taking the train of we don't care so much about scripted content. Let's scale that back. And I can't help but ask, why are you merging with them? Why Discovery are you wanting to merge with WB? And honestly, the only thing I can think of is, well, they knew the Fed was going to raise interest rates and the free money train was going away. So we had to find somebody to dance partner with.
That's a good call.
And it feels like they picked the wrong partner to play musical chairs with. And that's who they said that I got stuck with. Because the only thing that makes sense for me is the emulating Marvel with the plan for their DC movies, which of course that makes sense. And some of these decisions that they've been forced into making are because AT&T sucks. And they
Okay.
sucked as a company to own Warner Brothers. Like those are dominoes that AT&T put into place, like the bad DC, configuration. They're not being a Kevin Feige analog, right? Like the Wild West of making content in the DC universe that they allowed to happen for the last near decade. When did they buy them? That
Like
was not
4 or 5
within.
years ago?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was after Man of Steel, so it was like
Yeah, yeah.
6, 7 years,
At
right?
least yeah, about 5 to 6 years, yeah,
Yeah, that
because
that tracks with where I
yeah,
remember them Rooster Teeth becoming under that umbrella.
yeah.
So, like now, of course, that those chickens have come home to roost. The DC universe is an absolute mess. Ezra Miller's fucking kidnapping kids and taking them onto farms with guns, right? Like, shit's absolutely bananas. And they have to right the ship. They have to chart a new course because the course they're on is in flames. But they're doing it all with, I think, the wrong frame of reference, which is what is important about the brand, and also being dicks to the people working for them,
Yeah.
which are two really bad things to do at the same time. Like, you can be an asshole and a dick to the people working for you, and you can also misunderstand your brand, but doing them at the same time, oof. I really don't know how this HBO Max Discovery Plus merger summer 2023 is going to go. Because that's, I think, the second key takeaway from their DC change for us as fans, because you and I are both movie guys before we are streaming guys, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
But that merger, that scares the shit out of me. Because Discovery Plus's content is dog shit. For me. What is going to take the lead? And it feels like it's going to be the Discovery content.
I
It
mean,
feels like
given today that David Zaz led the call with everything being around, we're rebooting, and he just cut a really bad like wrestling promo that competes like a small federation. I'm not going to say AEW because a whole different ballpark, but in the past, like a TNA, this is a wrestling reference, guys. Get ready. If you're not ready for it, sorry. Like TNA in the mid 2000s, where they cut promos like saying that they were going to compete with WWE and Vince McMahon, awful promos. And they basically did exactly what they said they weren't going to do. And that's just remodel the WWE, and then no one can buy into it. It's what it sounds like. It was just a really bad promo by David Zaz talking about like, hey, yeah, we're gonna turn back the corner. We're gonna restart. Without directly saying it, we're gonna reboot the big three, the Trinity, Holy Trinity of DC, which is Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, right? That's what I took from it without him directly saying it. That's just me saying strategically for them to make money, they have to reboot those. They have to put the big three back on the big screen, and to do that, they're going to reboot it. Problem with that for me is this doesn't sound any smarter than what the Warner Brothers has done over the past 3 or 4 decades when they say stupid shit like this. In that, okay, we're gonna reboot, but we're gonna start off with The Rock and Black Adam. That's going to be our anchor. And it's like The Rock is a 50-year-old man playing a superhero, and it's like you're going to build the next 10 years on a 50-year-old man that may or may not decide to run for political office, just like it's not a it's that's bad. And then saying, "Oh, we're gonna reboot, but we're gonna keep Shazam, we're gonna keep Ezra Miller's Flash, we're gonna keep Momoa, we're gonna keep Peacemaker, seen as Peacemaker." It's like, okay, so are you rebooting though? Like, okay, I think what you and I assumed years back when they were doing the production for Ezra Miller's Flash movie was that maybe this is how they do a soft reboot of a lot of the DC characters. Well, it sounds like that's what they're going to end up doing. Like that's the reason why they don't want to scrap the Flash movie, in that it's going to reboot the DC cinematic universe with the major power players outside of Zachary Levin's Shazam, outside of John Cena's Peacemaker, outside of Jason Momoa's Aquaman, outside of Ezra Miller's Flash. Like these are we're gonna reboot everything, but we're not gonna reboot everything, and it's going to confuse people. It's gonna confuse casual moviegoers that like superhero movies. They're gonna be like, but wait, are we wait what? Like I thought we're starting over again. Marvel Studios has rebooted Spider-Man several times. They're going to have to reboot the Fantastic Four. They're going to have to reboot the X-Men. But the way they do it is very smart and strategic, whereas this is just like, oh, just don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. We're just going to completely give you a whole new thing, and you're just going to accept it. Almost like a daytime soap opera. And I had to watch these when I was a kid, so don't
Oh,
laugh at
dude.
me,
So
Warburg.
I had 5 channels growing up.
When you're sick at home, you have to watch it with
It-
your mom, right?
Price is Right,
Yeah,
soap
yep, but
operas.
in soap operas, whenever a character has an actor change, they tell you like there's a voiceover on today's episode. John Smith will now be replacing Kevin Smith as Luke. Like they tell you there's a voiceover when the episode starts or when a scene starts when he's in there, and in comes the new guy playing the same character, Luke, and it's like that's what it almost feels like to me. Is that there's that David Zaz was like going forward, so and so will be playing Bruce Wayne. And it's like, okay. But the thing is it's even weirder to me now that I'm talking it out that apparently the goal was to do a soft reboot and Michael Keaton was going to be the ongoing Batman again. Like,
The only way that works is if he's old Batman and you have a Terry and or Dick Grayson becoming Batman.
yeah,
That's the only
that's what,
way.
and it makes sense to do a Dick Grayson because
So
he's a more
also,
popular
straight up,
character.
Keanu Reeves said he wants to be old Batman, and I would fucking love that shit.
Yeah, but you
Keaton, don't
have
get me wrong, Keaton's right
Keaton,
there. Of course, you go Keaton
Keaton,
if he wants to do it.
but they've said that
Keanu
Keaton
would
was the
be,
ongoing
yeah.
one.
If
But
Keanu wants to do it,
But here's the other thing. We brought this up last week after we wrapped last week's podcast. We actually mentioned it at the back end of the podcast. We found out that Ben Affleck's going to show up again as Bruce Wayne
yeah.
in Aquaman.
Like,
It's like, holy
wait,
fuck,
what do
guys.
you mean you're doing? And speaking of, the director of Shazam says, well, we've never talked about crossing over with Black Adam. And I'm like, the fuck? They're of your universe the most tied together properties.
Yep.
How have you not discussed this?
Outside of Batman and Joker, it's Black Adam and Shazam.
Like
We know.
their powers come from the same dude, which is
Yep.
one dude. Not like it's like different Green Lanterns. Like one's the mirror of the other. And all too often his intro bad guy. Like, what are you doing? And is that a Warner decision? Was that back end Discovery saying, no, we don't need, don't do any reshoots, don't add anything with Black Adam because we know we're killing this? Like, there's so much going on where even the fans that are plugged in are like, what the fuck is going on? And not in a good way. Not in a like mind-bending twist way, but in a like literally the house is on fire around us like moment.
And the thing is that they're saying that a $90 million, so near $100 million production of Batgirl is being canceled for a tax break that's roughly $30 to $40 million. But I mean, I told you this before we started rolling. Leslie Grace Martinez, who's the lead actress that's playing Batgirl, is more than likely going to pull a Scarlett Johansson and sue the studio because like for them it's a little different in their contracts. They get a certain pay, but then they also get points, especially like it builds towards the future. So she may have signed a three picture deal with let's just say with Warner Brothers. She may have signed a three picture deal going into this Batgirl film, or she may have signed a 1+2, which is a one for the first film with an option for two more that the studio can pick up. But they have to award points at some level. They're just not going to pay her $1 million because she's a nobody right now to play this. And if it makes, $800 million, she gets absolutely nothing. She has to get something on the back end, even
Yeah,
if it's a
streaming
small.
residuals are clearly a part of why they're making some of these decisions, like straight up pulling their own original movies from the service that were
Yep.
already released.
Yep.
Like they pulled a fucking Seth Rogen movie. They pulled like American Pickle you can't watch. Which is like, why? Like I could see them wanting to make them non-originals and put them on other platforms. That makes more money. But why just delete them? What the fuck's the point? If it's not cut costs, make sure we don't pay people. When that
Yep.
smacks of treating your people like dirt.
Well, like you said at the very beginning, 70% of the productions are now halted. That's
That's the staff decision. That not
that's a,
necessarily 70% of their actual productions. 70% of
no,
the scripted content staff were going to be laid
there-
off.
yeah. So that's hundreds, if not thousands, of people losing their jobs,
Yeah.
and they don't make millions of dollars. These
Nope.
are like people that make $200 a day or whatever, like as day. It's like a day labor type
Yeah.
of thing for them, and that's that part of it's unfortunate. Also, the content creators that put their faith into Warner Brothers and going
That
into
turned down
the
other
that
opportunities.
turn out other opportunities because Paramount's out there looking for original content. And you brought this up a minute ago, and I want to circle back real quick and come back to this. But you mentioned like partners that fit. Discovery should have partnered with Paramount because that's realistically the better partner for them because Paramount has a shit ton of reality content with CBS Studios and Viacom. Like that's a big chunk of their modern content. They have a lot of old back content, but a lot of their modern content is reality television with like MTV and things like that. So it makes sense that they should have gone that route. But I think Warner Brothers AT&T was really desperate because we had talked about that the AT&T was struggling on a lot of things, and they were thinking about. We've heard stories of them chopping the block on a lot of stuff, including Rooster Teeth may see the kicking. It may be kicked to the curb here at some point. I don't know, or shut down completely. But it's things like that, like what the hell is going on with AT&T? Then they obviously turned and chose the wrong partner in the stance. A really bad move by them. And Warner Brothers, the execs have really treated the DC content like shit for decades. Occasionally we find a gold nugget in there here and there, which is great, but they are really doing a disservice to the fans. But beyond that, they're doing a disservice to the content creators, everybody that works in that industry that were like you said, that were like, hey, we could have gone to Netflix because they really wanted to do us, or we're it's a DC property, we really had no choice but to stay here versus like what else can we do? Just let it sit and just stew until we can find something else, get an option somewhere else, or come up with an idea that's very similar to this. Let's just go ahead and push forward with it. And now they're going to be out of work, and their stuff's we're never going to see the light of day of Batgirl. What the hell? And it's
Right?
part of me is
That
it's
it
just
was
it's
like
ridiculous.
90% done.
Yeah, 90% done. And then
Like,
the other thing is like Blue Beetle is in post production right now, and the director over there is posting social media stuff like basically begging them to not cancel it, even though they've basically said like B and C level like properties are not going to be released. So like this is a B to C level property in Blue Beetle. So Angel Manuel Soto is like begging people on social media to create some type of momentum to keep them from canceling it. But it sounds like Discovery's already made up their mind. Like this is going to be how the way it's going to be.
it's gonna be
And
a
it's tough.
bloodbath.
And
Like,
I was looking forward to Blue
I
Beetle. That
was,
was going
because
to be one of
like
my favorites.
honestly, I mean, Marvel has their Young Avengers, but I mean, like Kid Heroes, that those kind of things. DC's got that shit on lock. Like
DC had the
Titans, Young
Teen Titans,
Justice, they've
Young
got the
Justice.
Outsiders. Like
Yep.
they've got tons of different properties where they could, cultivate younger stars and grow
Yep.
them. Like Nightwing is a great example, right? Like young Robin becomes Nightwing, right? Like what happens to Doom Patrol and Titans? Like, right? Like, you already fucked Brendan Fraser once. You're gonna do it a second time? Straight up, I don't know if the internet's gonna take that.
Oh
For
man.
real. I don't know if that's gonna sink too much of your ship to pull that.
Yeah,
Because
I don't think you can understate Warburg how much the internet loves Brandon
and
Fraser
that
right
show's
now.
legitimately great.
It's entertaining, great cast. Yeah,
Like they've absolutely
yeah,
nailed adapting the property they're pulling from.
yeah,
But that's an aside to throw out into the ether. But like going back to the license, one of the things before we started that I wanted to make this analogy, it's not quite accurate because one owns, not leases, the license. But EA lost the Star Wars license.
yeah.
EA needs to lose the NFL license for that brand. The NFL needs to pull a FIFA and take their brand back. DC would be far better off on their fucking own, finding their own partner, but they can't do that because they're owned.
Yep.
Like, if Warner Brothers had any balls, they'd have been like, you know what? No, fuck it. You want to merge? That's great. Ooh, DC is going to spin off and be their own company. Like, that would have been the ballsy move that would have gotten me to respect them on the way out the door, right? As Warner, as an institution, basically ceases to exist, which is crazy to think about. I mean, I'm struggling to think of specific examples, but I mean, when you think of Hollywood, much like old school Paramount, Warner Brothers, and what they would do for live live content, like live action content, even their animated stuff. I mean, they are on the pantheon, and them like basically maybe not quite fading away now because they're still going to be part of the merger, and their IPs are still going to live on. The fact that they're receding and no longer taking an active role in things seems wrong, even though they fuck up a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it just seems kind of sad. Like, I was thinking right here, one of my other questions: what do they pull next? What does Discovery pull next? Is the Snyderverse just going to be completely pulled off off their streaming platforms?
Oh, you don't know? Then you haven't seen the story.
Apparently,
Okay.
I'm thinking they want to disavow it. I know
Well, they've disavowed it. There was a
because of
reporter.
the whole bot thing.
Yeah,
But like,
but there was
are they
a
going to
reporter
axe
that.
it? Are they going to
Yeah.
basically say, "Hey, no more streaming residuals for anyone involved"? Which
Okay.
is that would be that I cannot stress how crazy that would be because you're talking multiple unions involved, right? You're talking right like the stars themselves. It would be an absolute clusterfuck, and it's not out of the realm of possibility they do it anyway. That's what's so crazy about this merger. It's just, it's wild, and it's only going to get worse. Because then you talk about
Yeah.
the game side. Like, what happens to Warner Brothers games? Are they involved in any of this? Are they insulated?
As far as I know, it's just the broadcast productions, not the
It's only the
game.
live action side,
Yeah,
like
that's what
the actual production side.
the production side.
What we think
That's
of
my
show production.
that's that's my understanding because yeah, now yeah, that's my understanding that they didn't outright purchase or quote unquote merge with AT&T, the
Yeah, it's
entity. It
strictly
was
Warner, but I don't know where that falls for the game side.
or Warner
That's an
Games. It
I'm gonna
was
have to. I'm gonna actually look at that after the show. I'm not gonna speak
okay.
out of turn on that. But man, if they are involved in that, what the fuck? What happens there? They got two major releases coming out. One very soon.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. That's quite weird. Anything
Actually,
else?
two very soon because they have the
Oh yeah,
Suicide
and
Squad
yeah,
game
that's next year
and
though.
The Bat Family game,
Yeah, the
uh,
Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned it just now, but I'll go ahead and go a little more detail. They essentially there was a writer, well, actually there was a guy conducting building a documentary about streaming services, and one chapter he wanted to do it on was the Snyder cut. And when he reached out, Discovery basically told him, "Nope, it doesn't exist anymore." And he's like, "What do you mean? Like, can't you give me any archival footage about anything, the production, anything, any back shots that was shot with Snyder working on? Nope, it's all gone. Well, what about the movie? All gone. Like, what you have is the Whedon cut. That's it. That is canon for us going forward. So the Whedon cut is the Justice
But
League.
if they're gonna can it
The
anyway, why? Like that's what I just keep coming back to is why. They're gonna
I think
can
that
the entire universe anyway.
to me, what that sounds like, Warburg, is that spite by Discovery because obviously this deal. When was this a deal announced? Like late last
It was
year?
before the Snyderverse came out. The Snyder
Yeah,
Cut came out.
I have a feeling that they were pissed that Warner Brothers basically gave in to Snyder and gave him what 60
It
million
was a
was how much
lot of money.
it was like 65 million dollars to do the rest to finish the Snyder cut. And I think Discovery was pissed about that. I think this is a little grudge that they have with Zack Snyder and that whole experience because yeah, because while that was going on, you had what's his name, Ray Fisher, was it Ray Fisher?
Yeah.
Was out there speaking about like just pushing to cancel like so many people that were related to DC and Warner Brothers along the way. And I think this is more of like a spiteful move. I think this is a spiteful move by Discovery. I think that's what that is. It's just that they felt like while they were trying to negotiate this deal to finalize it, they see that Warner Brothers kind of gives in to Zack Snyder, and they're like, "Man, to hell with this.
That's
We're gonna make an example of people in Hollywood because we're reality TV." It's like you're reality TV. Like you have no grounds to talk about history of like cinema.
well,
Like
like
you
doing
don't.
it right. Like, and that's the thing is
Yeah.
you don't get to be petty when you're going to be making decisions that affect tens of thousands of people.
Yep.
You just don't. You do that shit, it's gonna bite you in the ass. And I wonder when that hammer is going to fall. Is it the launch of this new service falling on its face? Because they have engendered a lot of bad will, a lot of bad press this week.
Yep.
And how much does that carry over? Of course, most of the casual audience doesn't even see this shit. But how bad is it going to be? I don't know. Because out of the gate, even HBO Max kind of stumbled a bit. And not even a bit. It was kind of annoying how bad things were for how
Yeah.
much money they were clearly putting into it. But Discovery's app, it's not quite as bad as Peacock, but it's not exactly great. Like, they were talking about like common technologies and like find the best of both and make it work. And I'm like, that just sounds like fucking corporate buzzword bullshit that's going to lead to a very badly designed product that is going to fall on its face. And absolutely, again, screw over the people working on their stuff. It's just nonsensical.
Maybe I need to go pay for a month of Discovery Plus to go mess with it, but from what I'm seeing people compare it to, they're saying it's somewhere between Peacock and Paramount Plus, which is just Paramount Plus is pure dog shit. It still
Yeah.
is. It's one of the worst streaming platforms I've ever seen in my
Yeah.
life. Like I was like at the very beginning of streaming with Sling TV. You remember that, right? The
Mm-hmm.
where it had like 10 or 15 channels. That was the worst fucking like application I had ever seen. It was horrible. And then Netflix came out, and Netflix was like, boom, here's how it's done. And people were like, hell yeah, this is simple. The UI is clean. It's easy for the casual viewer to get. I
Like,
have a feeling that Discovery's going to botch this. I have a big feeling
Paramount
about that.
still doesn't have a fucking dedicated Star Trek tab.
Nope.
It's one of the biggest IPs in existence,
Well, the app still struggles to play HD on computers, on
right? Like,
PCs. It's
they
like,
have the 4K director's cut of the motion picture. I haven't watched it because I know their player sucks
yeah.
straight up,
But
and I'm
I have a feeling that
yeah,
I'm because I like I said I'm doing I what little reading I've done the past 2 days is that Discovery Plus has no room to kind of like gloat about this
yeah.
acquisition and that
And
they're the
HBO
better
Max
company.
actually, like, it was because of HBO Max they finally went back and remastered fucking Game of Thrones in 4K.
Yep.
Like, the people that were making the decisions to guide the HBO Max, like the back end platform shit, they were putting in the work and it was working. And is that all gone? Like, none of that's, it feels like none of that's going to translate to this new brand. And that fucking sucks. I hope the rumors they're going to break away HBO and it's going to be a standalone thing again, which to be fit to Discovery's credit, that's what it always should have been. HBO
Yeah.
Max's existence was tenuously put together because you were combining two similar brands, much like the current merger, that were still disparate, but it still came together a couple years on. Like it, HBO Max now is I think what it was. It was actually number two in terms of like market share, wasn't it?
Yep.
Like it was skyrocketing compared to Netflix tanking. So I hope that momentum on the HBO side continues because obviously they got House of Dragon coming, right? Like they've got a number of other Game of Thrones properties in the works, right? Like you've
Yep.
got things like Peacemaker season two, maybe, and I think DC, I think Superman and Lois jumps over to fully be an HBO production and no longer does CW releases, especially as they're
Yep.
looking to sell that network, which honestly makes sense in this day and age. If you're going to be just streaming, you don't need the CW because it's so much more restrictive being an over-the-air, entity,
Well,
right?
CW wants to get rid of superhero properties
In
anyway.
general, right? And that's what they're going to own. So like,
Yeah.
get rid of it, right? You want to do things like end of the deal that gets Supernatural off Netflix and bring it over to your property, right? Like, that's what they want to do. So they can
And
sell
all the other
and
CW
all the other
shows because
CW shows, plus the Warner Brothers shows from back in the day, move,
yeah.
and they want them to all be there, which HBO Max still struggled with, by the way. There was a
Yeah.
lot of old WB content they did not have. But HBO Max needs to become the premium brand again. I think that momentum's going to carry there because HBO still has that cultural cachet. Things like Westworld that are going on, right? Like recently Raised by Wolves, which didn't light the world on fire, but was still like a well-made show. With clearly had great talent behind it because it was a Ridley Scott thing. Like that's where the premium talent is going to go is the HBO. So it makes sense to spin it off and make it its own thing. But the way they're doing it again, it's the most dickish way possible, the most petty way possible, and it's just sad.
It's very sad. I mean, when I think about it, like you said, I mean, the House of Dragons coming out. They're going to start pre-production very soon of the Jon Snow sequel. Game of Thrones sequel,
Oh
direct
yeah,
sequel.
which legit people are shitting on as a concept. And I'm like, you know what? If Kid Harington is gonna give it his all,
Yeah,
give me more. Give me Jon Snow and Tormund fucking around north of the Wall. Let's go. I'm in. Even if it's just 2 seasons, I want to see Jon Snow build a kingdom up there. That'd be a
yeah,
great show. Like with all the different clans they set up with the Wildmen, and like what happens to that world after the wall is down and after the walkers are gone. What happens to that world? That's cool. I love properties that do shit like that. That
yeah,
actually follow up on the major game changing shit and then end. I love and here's what's next kind of properties. And Kit Harington killed it as Jon Snow, so beyond season 8, which turned him into the My Queen guy, but whatever. Give him something more to do. The guy earned it.
Well, well, the character itself has
it
suffered traumatic. It's like horrible loss through this whole process, right? He lost so
yeah.
much of his family,
Had to
fell in
kill
love
the
with
woman
his
he
aunt,
loved. Yeah.
had to kill the woman he loved twice. Had to kill the woman he loved twice. Don't forget
Yeah,
that.
twice. His
Um,
family's basically like disowned him.
yep.
Like all he's got is his wolf and his best friend.
And he's stuck with the oath of defending the wall again,
Oh,
twice now.
yeah. Well, that's the thing is he left. Like that was the best part of him just being like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm out.
Yeah.
I hope
So
that's where they start with him. It's just he's not even in the Night's Watch anymore.
he I think the big question would be like at this point, like maybe whoever is leading the Night's Watch pretty much just told him, you know what, you've already died for this. You've already
That's where
fulfilled
they
your oath.
killing was it Ed?
Yeah,
Killing him was the biggest mistake of season 8 for me in terms of the
that
future where they could go in the universe because
yeah,
you need if like in terms of for Jon Snow, like you killed his like his other best friend, like his brother in arms, Ed, and obviously you need stakes, people need to die, but he just came back and you killed him,
yeah,
right?
yep.
And now wanting to do future stuff with that part of the world, there's no players we know on the board,
Not on the wall, not on the wall anymore.
and
Nope.
that sucks.
It's
And
just
again,
all
they
completely
didn't
fresh
know
faces.
they were gonna do that, right?
Yep.
Like I get it. It just if that property does see the light of day, which again maybe in all this chaos does it, who knows? But I hope it does.
It's possible that it's possible House of Dragons does not do as well as we all think it's going to do just because it's a Game of Thrones property because a large chunk of people are still bitter from season 8 of Game of Thrones,
Very
So it's
true.
possible that the numbers aren't where they want it to be and Discovery says, "You know what? Let's go ahead and just cancel that one. He could go back, he could go be Black Knight in the MCU, let him go do his own thing. Screw it." Like and I think at this point you're right. I think they're really starting to push the envelope with fans of HBO and its productions and DC and its productions. And at some point, they're going to regret that. I think that HBO Max it always was an idea of kind of like a new Coke, classic Coke rebranding to kind of help get out of HBO Go that people
It
hated.
was a weird. They were ahead of the game, but they also
Yep.
shot themselves in the foot by splitting their apps.
HBO and HBO Go was like people that confused so many people. It's like, okay, where do I go to watch live? Oh, okay, I got to go to HBO. Okay, and but then all of a sudden, at one point, they started streaming live on HBO Go Game of Thrones, and then they took it away. And so people were like, okay, so what do I do here? HBO Max was kind of their way of saying, sorry guys, we're gonna put it all together in one spot. And it's like, okay, I could deal with that. Um, Maybe they just decide to get rid of Max and just like you said, just go with just HBO, period, calling it HBO and it'd be its own channel. But if they put it sub inside of Discovery Plus, it's going to confuse the hell out of people. Like it's going to really,
Hmm.
especially if they decide to go with the financial model of you have to pay for Discovery Plus, but then pay an additional premium fee for for HBO. It's like, wait, that doesn't
I
make
hope they
sense,
don't do that.
which is what WWE is doing under the Peacock browser. But it, people are like, "Oh, it's doing fine." Look, wrestling has the same 900,000 to 1.2 million people that sub and they follow the WWE no matter what it does, no matter where it goes. There's no growth there for them. But they did take away hundreds of thousands of of viewers with the process of killing the network and putting it under Peacock and then making it completely like basically just destroying half the catalog and then cutting out a lot of production quality. Like they rolled back, HD on some of the productions that WWE fixed. Like there's just so many things that are getting mirrored with the Peacock WWE network that I'm kind of worried that's going to happen with this. But we're not talking about 2 million wrestling fans. We're talking about what 30 million HBO Max fans, that are going to be like, you know what, screw this. Like, I,
Yeah, they're gonna have to
I,
start over again building a base.
yeah, I'll just purchase the series if it's on Amazon or torrent it and watch it because it's too much work for me. And plus, fuck Discovery. Like I don't want to see it that way because I've become a really big fan of HBO Max over the past 2 years.
Yeah,
Really
they're
big
putting out
fan.
good shit.
Yeah, the UI, but I mean, not just the content, but just the app itself is a really good experience, and it's a little fresher than Netflix. But at the same time, it's like, hey, what Netflix did, HBO Max started off bad, but they built on
Yeah,
that. So you kind of wish that Disney would kind of get their UI a little,
it's closer to HBO Max than you think, because like things
it is,
like they have the split out Marvel tab. Like HBO Max
yeah,
has that split out DC, right? Like they have
yeah,
those split out things for not just the genre, but for also the IP, which is really smart.
yeah.
And Disney and Warner were both doing it. And I don't trust Discovery's going to do that. Like again,
No.
they're more like Paramount. Like Paramount doesn't have a fucking Star Trek's tab. You have all that awesome Star Trek shit on one streaming service, which is an incredible value, by the way, if you're a sci-fi fan. It's not dedicated, and searching for Star Trek doesn't even bring everything up in the search bar. Fucking stupid. Like brand killing stupid. Because
Yeah.
not everybody's gonna watch everything, which is what you want. You're a streaming company. It blows my
Well,
mind.
you're also we're both overlooking the big thing here is that Discovery is a reality TV company. Let's come back to that. And for them to have fiction production, are they really going to let it dominate their app?
I don't think they
You know,
are. They want
are they
Discovery
they
Week. They want like HGTV, right? They own Bravo,
I don't know if they own Bravo. I think they
but
own
they
two
want
or
that kind of like HGTV. Like that's their bread and butter. That's what they
yeah,
know. They don't
yeah.
know. Hey, let's make a $200 million tentpole superhero movie. Like
Nope.
some of the decisions make sense. Again, wanting to have a unified vision, wanting to have a Kevin Feige like character running the DC universe. That's great. But let them make the decision whether or not to clean slate everything.
Please don't let it be Jeff Johns running it. Oh
It better
God.
not be. If they do that shit, if they bring him back in a creative common decisions way, that dude needs to go back to comics and or making TV shows because clearly he's good at doing the TV side.
Yeah.
Some of the best episodes of Smallville and The Flash, he was directly involved in.
But he does not need to be leading a studio. Jim Lee does not need to be leaving.
It's not
Jim
their.
Lee's
That's not what they do.
That's not what they do. Jim Lee's a great artist, great storyteller in comics, even really good on the video game side. I'm gonna be honest with
If you
you.
put him on the production team for a Superman movie, I'm
Yeah,
fucking in.
yeah, but for him to lead a studio, no,
No,
no.
that's you need the right kind of experience for that, and I don't know who you get. I really don't. Like, do they make a run at the Russo brothers after their Netflix deal expires?
Maybe here's
That
the
you need
deal.
someone on that level though.
Maybe I'm gonna say it, and you're gonna think I'm crazy because
Who big has recently turned into who's recently turned to producing? I don't.
James Gunn,
If they're gonna make a because Guardians 3 is done,
he no longer has Marvel obligations. He liked
but does he
he even
want
had
to do that? Because that is
his
such a. I mean, don't get me
that's
wrong. He's
life.
a nerd. He understands DC quite well. I wouldn't have
Yeah,
any problem with the qualifications of understanding the brand. You need someone that understands the brand like Feige understands because he's been doing Marvel shit since the 90s.
and
Right?
Filoni does Star Wars. Yeah,
Right. Like you need someone like that.
yeah.
Who is that for DC?
I mean, people go to, like I said, Jeff Johns and Jim Lee, but it's because
That's
they
because they're on the
started off
comic
as
side.
comics, yeah, and they got moved into editor and
Do you
executive
turn
roles. So
to someone who's done it? And which of the two is still because one of them had the sexual conduct stuff, Arrowverse. Mark Guggenheim and Greg Berlanti. Is it Greg
okay, yeah,
Berlanti that's still
I
in
think it's
running
Berlanti.
everything?
I think so.
Do you turn to Berlanti? I mean, he's
Yeah,
got the experience. He's ran an entire cinematic universe from with multiple properties ongoing at the same time.
with low budgets, yeah.
Like, do you give him some of the control? Is he the one in charge of the creative decisions? Like, what movies we want to do, what characters we want to focus on, and then you have someone do the logistics side, kind of like what they're doing with Star Wars.
It cannot be someone from Discovery. It cannot
That's
be
not going to
someone
fly.
from Discovery. That's going to be a horrible calculative move by Discovery, and it feels like that's what's going to happen because they're going to get people that are, oh, we know how to make productions profitable off of low budgets, right? Because that's what reality TV is, right? This is something completely different, guys. This is old cinema mixed with new cinema, not
And you need
reality
to like you
TV.
think you think you know about managing stars?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Like I don't know. It's
Let's
like
let's see let's see a Discovery executive try to control Joaquin Phoenix. Let's see that.
yeah,
He will literally go and take a shit in that executive's office, like on his desk, while he's eating breakfast. Because it's like you got to be careful when you deal with stars like that. They are very
it's a
it's
weird
high
world.
maintenance. It is.
It's an adjacent world, much like the reality TV, like the Discovery to Warner. They're
Yeah.
adjacent to each other. They are not in the same realm.
Nope.
They're like
And
overlapping, but they don't touch.
that's why like people can make complaints about Kevin Feige, but the fact that he's worked with so many big name actors through a lot of these MCU productions, and they love working with him. They all speak like, I like the guy. He shows up with his black comic book hat on, and he just sits down and just has a casual conversation, and I feel comfortable talking about like I don't agree with him. Like Peyton Reed, the director that was originally on Ant-Man, was like, look. I didn't agree with the direction of Ant-Man after it was said and done, but I still respect Kevin Feige's vision. Like I understand what they're trying to do
That's
here,
where
and I get it.
I go back to maybe it's Berlanti because he was also
Okay.
operating under the distinction that it had to be a TV show. So he was
Okay.
on it's got to be 23 episodes.
Yeah.
And he also, I think, publicly chafed at that a little bit. He was like, man, I wish we could do less. Right? Like, because he knew the stars didn't like it.
Yep.
And everyone that's come out has said, dude, Greg's awesome. Right? Like, Amel's like, Greg can run a show on HBO Max. I'm there if it's only like
Yeah.
8
He
episodes.
said if you do an 8 to 10 episode of Arrow,
I'm
I'm
there.
there. Yeah.
And I'm sure don't have any quotes in front of me, but Gustin seems like the guy, even if he doesn't mean it, would say it. That he loved working and being the Flash, like doing the
He just
show. It's
yeah
just
he hated
it's such a grind.
he hated the CW executives. That's
Like,
everyone at the Flash has gone on record that they're not fans of the CW side of things.
right? And again, I talk about what happened to Legends, which is one of the greatest DC decisions.
Yep.
One of the dumbest, greatest things DC has ever done is the Legends of Tomorrow. Like
Shifting
it's
the tone of it. Yeah.
the like again the redemption of that season 1 into what it became in season 2, doing
Yeah.
fucking Bebo, the God of War. It I cannot put those words in unless you know what I'm talking about. It's one of those you had to be there things.
You had to be there.
But it is fucking almost like Nirvana, content Nirvana, because it is just so like a quick acid trip of like, what the fuck am I watching and why am I loving it? Like, that is what that show became, and it was just by pure happenstance. Total shit luck. It's what happened. And it became beautiful because the people behind the show gave a shit. DC and Stevie W every now and then would let that shit happen. It was magic. I don't know if that's gonna happen again. And that sucks.
Yeah. I'm very worried now after this week has really put a little bit of anxiety regarding the
If
future
you
of DC.
like they're
DC.
saying some of the right things, but man, with way the wrong tone.
Yep.
And it
Yep.
freaks me out. So speaking of, we talked about they're engendering some not great will.
Yeah.
With people that work for them, whether they're the creatives or the actual like tech people. What are the odds Batgirl gets leaked? Even unfinished.
I'm going to say right now it's probably 60-40. It gets leaked.
I could see
I
it.
think so.
If they've done that many test screenings, it's finished enough to be released. Like, with, of course, the caveat of, hey, it's not done, guys.
I wouldn't be shocked in the next couple of in the next week or two, a screener of a screen. Somebody shoots a screener of it. It pops up and they can't determine where that screener came from. So they can't say, oh, it's a screener that's after the fact. No, it was in a theater, so we don't know. We were doing a test. We've been doing multiple test screenings and. Someone just recorded it, quote unquote recorded it, or someone may just be ballsy enough to just release the digital format of it on torrent
Yeah.
online.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I
But
mean
not out of the
that's
realm of possibility.
I mean, I could see Discovery making horrible threats of like litigation, but it's one of those things where it'll put people in a corner, especially if it ends up being a pretty decent movie that hasn't seen full like its full
Because then it'll
editing
make
and
them look like assholes even
yeah,
more. If
because
it's
they
not,
basically are
if
like,
it's not
eh,
the worst thing since Catwoman,
yeah,
like even if it's just, I don't know, Batman versus Superman, like if it's not any worse than that, and people see it, and then they know it, and they know it was written off as a tax write-off just for the tax write-off, again, that's going to be even worse. So I don't know. Like the talking out of both sides of the mouth here makes me think it's not actually that bad, and that's worse for me. Is if they knew it was decent, like just it was all right, and it's killed it anyway.
well,
Oof.
don't forget they also killed the Colin Farrell Penguin TV show on HBO Max.
That
And
damn was going to be so good.
the Batman was a really good movie. I mean,
Yeah, at the very
and
least, it was good. Like you cannot tell me that was a bad movie.
it was going to be in the Batman universe, the Matt Reeves universe, and it's like I think
Yeah,
what they're
does the
trying to do is
Batman 2 happen?
I don't think so.
I
I don't think so.
I, I can't see it
I think they're going with their Justice League Batman. They're going to recast and bring someone out, and
because that was the
it won't
best
be a
thing
big
about Warner
name.
Brothers doing lately. Like I said, they were letting magic happen, like just crazy shit. They were letting multiple Batman happen. They
Yep.
were letting multiple Superman happen, right? Like they were letting multiple iterations of like they had a new Wonder Woman in the comics, and like I had guarantee you she was going to show up on something on the CW related. Like, and I think she even almost did. They almost had a show about her.
I think
I think
so.
she was going to cross over on Naomi or something as a backdoor pilot. Like that was one they killed. New comic book character, kind of in the vein of Miss Marvel. Very popular in the comics. Killed her show after one season, and it was doing well. Like, dude, what the fuck? It just, uh, it just feels to circle back. It feels like feels petty.
Yeah.
Feels bullheaded when it doesn't have to be.
Yep. Yep.
And it's just very frustrating.
Very, very frustrating.
Is there anything else you want to talk about when it comes to the DC Warner Brothers Discovery situation?
Honestly, man, at this point, it's just going to be a holding pattern for us. We're going to be watching it with caution.
Because we're not going to
Um,
know until summer 2023.
yeah, that's really it.
But that's assuming the Flash sees the light of day.
Yeah.
Dude, if Ezra
Wait,
Miller
no.
does something worse, I don't know if they release that movie.
Well,
Like, what if he kills someone? Straight
Black
up.
Adam comes out in November though,
October 21st.
October 21st. So I think in October, depending on how what the box office looks like for Black Adam, which I think they're giving way too much credit to The Rock because no one knows this Black Adam character, and it's going to be a hard sell for casual moviegoers.
Yeah, and except for
Even
Pierce Brosnan, no one else of major note
major note, yeah,
is in the movie. I love Sarah Shahi, and Aldous Hodge is great, but
yeah,
they're not household names.
no,
Black Adam's not a household name.
nope.
Shazam is. There was a
But they're
time when
not tying,
Shazam was as big as Superman,
but they're not tying in right now currently Shazam to Black Adam. So it's like,
which is bonkers.
yeah, this is going to be a tough one. So I think come November we're going to have an idea of what they're going to do going forward pretty quickly. I think if the box office isn't where they want it to be with Black Adam, within weeks we're going to start hearing about a bunch of stuff happening because obviously they don't really give a shit. Discovery does. They're willing to just put everything on the chopping block ASAP. You know,
Yep.
like and
The
not
only
really
thing that might
inform
shave
people.
like something like Shazam is that it's siloed off.
Yeah,
Other than the cut-ins of the other characters like Aquaman, Batman, and the Flash, which were just trailer edits, you could cut that out of a movie damn easy. Other than that, they haven't been a part of the main universe. So Shazam's probably fine.
yeah.
Black Adam's probably fine in terms of continuation into the next reboot.
And
But
Peacemaker was so popular, you
yeah,
know.
and it's cheaper, way
Yeah,
cheaper.
yeah,
Like Cena's big name, but he's not The Rock, right?
no,
He's not bringing billion-dollar movies home.
nope.
So
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching with caution going forward, man.
because
I will tell you that.
it's so bizarre to me because I love DC so much. Like
I know you
DC
do.
is my universe of the two.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it is what I grew up on before any Marvel stuff. Even though it was actually kind of close, Fox Kids was the jam back in the 90s. Okay, X-Men, Spider-Man, right? Like I think there wasn't a,
Yes.
was it a She-Hulk show or was she on the one of the shows?
No, she was on one of the shows, but on Fantastic Four, I think, is where she was on.
Yeah, like she was on that a lot, right?
Brian
Like
Austin Green was Johnny Storm, by the way.
right, yeah, like that era of Fox, like that was
Yeah.
my childhood. Plus Batman and Superman and the DCAU. Like the DCAU was like what made me a comic book fan, and like that era, that iteration, that like that company's gone basically.
Yep.
Even when they're changing hands, they're no longer doing the DCAU. They're doing new things like the Young Justice era stuff with Cartoon Network. That company's gone. Like,
Yep.
man, this sucks. And I don't know what's next. And I honestly don't have any faith it's going to be good. And that sucks.
Yeah.
Because these are great characters that I would put, if you do them right, I think they're better characters for storytelling and like with a point, like a message. They're better than what Marvel's got in the stable. And everything but Captain America, they're better than, except maybe the X-Men. To like have a message and like a theme built around them. Whether that's vengeance or hope or justice, right? And they just keep fucking it up. It is very, very frustrating as a comic book fan. And it's only getting worse. And I don't like it.
I think this was a bit of a therapeutic podcast for us.
It was. We did a lot of
Yeah.
rambling.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do.
So if you're finding this randomly, if the algorithm has been tripped and you're here somehow and you've listened to an hour of us banter about starting off with what we're going to eat and food for food in a month, and then our musings on the DC situation and Warner Brothers and Discovery, you can find me at MrWartburg on Twitter. You can find Fusion at It's Mr. Fusion on Twitter.
Yep.
Of course, if you're on YouTube, our tags are on the screen there, so you can find us there. We stream these live over at twitch.tv/MrWartburg. That link is in the description. You, of course, definitely subscribe, leave a like. Help us grow that channel a little bit. Every little bit helps. Randomly, the Dragon Age podcast we did is had 40 views in the last week, which for me
Nice.
is a lot. Anybody that's finding this randomly, it's not a lot in the grand scheme of things. In fact, it's basically nothing. But I have 120 subs, so
This is a labor of love, man. We're not
it's
trying
it's
to.
a passion project. Purely,
Yeah, it's a passion
always
project.
ever going to be, which is fine with me. I saw I think it was an Instagram post from Alana Pierce about just go make stuff. I'm like, hell yeah, I've been making shit for 10 years going on, just because it's fun. Because Fusion lives 1,000 miles away, and I like talking nerdy shit with him. Might as well make a podcast out of it.
Yep. Always a
if it-
pleasure, man.
Yeah, it's a fun time. So speaking of passion project stuff, and let's end on where things we're looking forward to. In the month of August and September, of course, when we're recording episode 50, what are you looking forward to playing and or watching?
Man, I'm hoping at some point we're gonna get that ever so close Halo Infinite DLC because I did enjoy the campaign. Gotham Knights is a late edition this year, right? Or is it?
Yeah, I
early
think it's
next year?
October.
October. I'm actually just watching the gameplay. I'm excited about Gotham Knights, and I'm gonna play that. Content in the next couple months, man. I do want to go watch Bullet Train. I might go watch that this weekend at the
Same
Alamo
here.
Draft House.
I'm actually on Tuesday. I got to get my booster before I come down to Austin.
Yeah, definitely get that, man. I'm gonna try to get mine probably before you show up, but I'm told that the Omicron variant is supposed to be in the next round in September, so I might wait. I don't know because I got boosted,
I never did. I kept
Okay.
getting bad timing.
So I'm good. I'm technically still under on my booster window, but yeah, man, I kind of want to go watch Bullet Train because what was it compared to?
Smoking Aces.
Smoking Aces,
And that locks
Lock, Stock, and Smoking Barrels.
yeah, like those kind that brief window of time
Yeah.
where everything was fucking Matt Vaughn stylized
Yep.
and rated R. It's that era of movies was great. Like Lucky Number 11, right?
Oh, God,
that
yeah.
era of movie. And it feels like a return to that, but with Brad fucking Pitt. Yes, let's go.
And
the
apparently
reviews
he
are
is
great.
and apparently he's gone pretty ham in this movie. So I'm yeah.
It honestly, it feels like an extension of what he showed up in with the Lost City.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly. That was
Yeah.
a good that
Brad
we're
Pitt
getting
is
this,
extremely underrated in comedies. That dude's
yeah,
hilarious.
He is pretty damn funny, man. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Gonna watch that. Got She-Hulk in a couple weeks. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, man. I mean, we've got some stuff. We've got content coming, but it not like overload like it was this summer. We had a really big overload, and then eventually we got in something next month. I've got Cobra Kai's next season. Obviously, Netflix has pushed that up. So and they're still under the binge model, so they're going to give you the full season all up front. And I think with Stranger Things, just that, and then I'm wrapping up the next couple of weeks with Better Call Saul. Gonna end that show, which this week's episode, it was titled Breaking Bad, by the way, if you haven't gone and seen it yet. Just I'm gonna miss that show. I'm gonna miss the Vince Gilligan verse, man. But we've got little things coming here and there. I've been watching a few other shows recently, and at some point I want to do an episode where we talk about some of our favorite documentaries. Maybe do that later this summer when we have kind of a slow couple of weeks. Just because I've been watching a few docs on HBO and Netflix and even on YouTube, and I just like there's just some of the weirdest things that I find interesting, and I think I want to pick your brain at one point, and the audience even on some of their favorite documentaries. So maybe we talk about that too.
Yeah. So for me, I just bought a PS5
Yes, you
with
did.
Horizon Zero Dawn. So of course I played 20 hours of Fallout 4 since then because why not? Dude, the modded Fallout 4 is so good. It's so much fun. I'm gonna play Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West. Prey comes out tomorrow on Hulu, and oh my god, the
Ray.
reviews are incredible.
Yep.
Like
They say
everyone's like, dude,
this is
this
how
move,
Predator should have been done.
this
Yes.
movie fucking kicks ass, and I'm like,
Yes. Forgot about
okay, I
Prey.
was gonna go see Bullet Train, but you know what I'm doing? I'm gonna buy me a pizza. I'm gonna come home, sit on my couch, and I'm gonna watch Prey.
There you go, man.
Gonna be an amazing night. Cannot wait for it. Of course,
Nice.
She-Hulk's coming out. Andor, not
Andor.
Andor, which that's going to be the photoshops that are going to come out of that name title are going to be pretty great. Because you just throw a slash in there and it's something entirely different. That trailer looked incredible. That trailer
It did.
looked like everything I've wanted since Rogue One released. I want a gritty, realistic, down to earth, no Jedi bullshit, like Star Wars spy show. It feels like if you took Spy Capers, put it in the Star Wars universe, it feels like what you imagined in your head, and it looks like they nailed it. Like centering it around the Mon Mothma political scheming. You got fucking which is the Skarsgård,
Alan Skarsgård.
the older one. Is that his name? It's a
Yeah, Alan
Skarsgård.
Skarsgård. Yeah.
Eric Selvig, right? Him showing up to like and being the analog to, and they're bringing back Forrest Whitaker and hopefully kind of retconning and making Saw Gerrera work like he did in the animated properties a little better because he was a great character there. Like, and Cassian Andor, maybe we get does Alan Tudyk show up as K2, right?
Maybe
Like, because obviously
it's
it's
a
a voice
prequel.
role, so
Yeah.
like there's so much about that universe that is unexplored in that timeline that hasn't really been properly defined. Like we've seen the rebellion in snippets, right? Like in Rebels, right? Like in Rogue One, but never its literal foundations of like how did Mon Mothma get together with Bail Organa? How did that spy network come to be?
Yep.
That's fucking cool. Like you can tell some awesome stories there, and it feels like they're finally diving into that. Like stuff like the Bad Batch feels like they're really diving into that era in earnest, which is what I always wanted. Like it feels like what was the best parts of expanded universe. It feels like they're really mining that for great shit, and I want it. Cannot wait
Yeah.
for it. Comes out first 3 episodes September 21st,
Yep.
and then weekly after. They moved back She-Hulk a day,
Yep.
so it's no longer at the same time, which is sensical, and I can't believe they never did it before. They were releasing their major properties on the same day weekly. One hand, I get it because it keeps more eyeballs longer, kind of like that YouTube model of like who can stay on the tab the longest kind of model. But also, like people don't have that much time.
I
That was
also think
stupid.
I think with Obi-Wan and Miss
They
Marvel doing
learned.
this,
Oh yeah,
they learned.
keep them separate.
Yeah.
Keep them separate.
Yep.
Right, because they're not entirely the same audience.
Nope.
Keep them separate.
Yep.
Like yeah, that feels like the right thing to do. So I'm looking forward to all those things that we've mentioned here. It's going to be a fun fall. Hopefully, a little more time to breathe so I can get caught up on some games.
There you go.
Especially, hey, maybe we're not gonna have any DC properties for a while.
Maybe, man.
So Fusion, as always, it's been a blast hanging out with you.
You as well, man. I love talking. I love talking about this stuff, man. Content. I mentioned a while back, we're in this golden age of just content in general, like TV shows and movies. Like we're getting such great productions, and um, it's really great for us when we can take a moment to kind of reflect on it. I know we've really jumped in it when we can, and schedules create kind of logistically. Sometimes we have issues where we can't immediately after an event, like something drops to talk about it. But I think we do our best to talk about these things, and it's always fun because it's a shared interest, but at the same time, it's like we both kind of have the opportunity to really also vent when we don't. There are times where we don't like something, we want to talk about it. Doesn't mean we're going to hate on the product because we have expectations and we have desires for it to be good. We don't. I don't want anything I watch any of these IPs to be bad. And what we talked about today with Discovery, it's going to create a bit of a concern for me with DC product with productions going forward, and so I don't want them to be bad. I loved Peacemaker. I told you, and I spoke
One of the
on
best shows of the
Twitter.
year, period.
One of the best shows, one of the best TV shows intros ever. And James Gunn loved what he did and wants to do it again. And I'm like, that's what I want, man. That's what I want. I want stuff like that where James Gunn says, I like this character from the movie. Let's make a TV show. Holy shit, we did a great job, and this was fucking awesome. I had a wonderful experience. I want to do a second season. Let's do it. We have Moon Knight that's in pre-production apparently overseas. Like there's so many things that I enjoyed that I want more production of going forward, and I'm very going to be very cautious about what happens now with DC, but at the
Yeah,
same
I
time, it
don't
was
know
going.
if Discovery's gonna let that shit happen
Yeah,
organically.
but you know what? It was good to vent about it, man. It
It
really was
was.
good to vent about it. Yeah,
Next week will be, or the next episode will be back on the positive train, hopefully, because
hopefully.
She-Hulk drops. Maybe
Yep.
we get our first look at Daredevil. Who knows when he shows up? Like,
Hopefully, we
imagine
get
he's
them in
in
the
every
beginning.
episode or just about, and they kept that under wraps the entire time. Like something like crazy shit like that, where he's in
I'm gonna
multiple episodes.
I'm gonna call my shot. He shows up in episode 1, but he's Matt Murdock. We don't get Daredevil till later in the season.
That's the most likely scenario. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong. I'm not trying to put the cart before the horse here,
I know.
but imagine them having the balls to do that.
Yeah,
Like, that'd be amazing. I can't wait to see what that happens. Because honestly, I think we're gonna really like the show. I think everyone's hating on it because of the look. Just like, guys, your brain gets used to things, and right now we're
yeah,
getting snippets. We're not getting sitting with a thing for 30 minutes.
exactly.
Let's judge after you see it for 30 minutes.
Yep.
Like 2-minute snippets are not enough to not like, because your brain is, you have that uncanny valley. Let it sit for a little bit. It's one of the one-off things like in Rogue One didn't really work because they were side characters, right? I'm hoping it sits better. And I'm very much so looking forward to that show because we get more Hulk finally because it's not in a movie.
Yep.
Thanks, Universal. So I'm looking forward to that. And then in two episodes, 4 weeks from now, literally 4 weeks from today. No, not from today. 30 days from today. I'm going to be
There you go.
sitting in the office Fusion is in, and we're going to be recording a podcast where we rank the entire MCU. Whiteboard and all. We're going to have some barbecue and just sit and talk movies for as long as we want. It's going to be absolutely incredible for our 2-year anniversary. Cannot wait. So I hope as many of you that end up watching this end up tuning in for that show, because we're probably going to live stream it. At the very least, it'll be recorded and edited. And it's going to be a great time. Can't wait for it. So, Fusion, thanks for hanging. Now we're actually getting to the outro. No more rambling. Okay, bye.
Bye, everybody.